Okay, let's see. Okay, so this is my first video for this YouTube channel that I was encouraged to do. Um, so I think the first thing I want to thank all those people who encouraged me to do this, because I have no clue on what the hell I'm doing. This is my first time, so I figured I'd jump all in on this and give it a shot and see uh, what type of content that I can put out there that can benefit others and hopefully inspire change in some people. But one of the things that has really caught my attention is the injustice that we have in our country. Now, there are many people that feel that there is nothing wrong and are overly offended by people who are kneeling during the national anthem or Pledge of Allegiance, so forth. They feel that those people that are kneeling are disrespecting those who have served their country and died for their country. See, I have a little different view on that. And before I go into any of this, these are my views and my opinions alone. This is not the end-all, be-all, end statement of whatever I say next. I in no way feel that a person who kneels during the Pledge of Allegiance does not make them less patriotic than the next person because they're running down the street with an American flag and hooting and hollering and so forth. Just because you're louder than the next does not make you any more patriotic. Maybe a fanatic, but it is what it is. One of the things that I think is rather interesting is name calling. It's like if someone doesn't agree with you, you're getting called a name because you don't agree with what they believe in or what they think. There's this thing that many of you take advantage of or take for granted is your freedoms and liberties. There are so many people that have no responsibility at all with what comes out of their mouth. They just say whatever and think, oh, well, you know, who cares about the next person's feelings? It has nothing to do with that. It's called responsibility. Because those men and women that served and died for their country give many of you that opportunity to say whatever the hell you want out of your mouth. And half of it is racist. I'm calling it what it is. You say what you feel. You do as you feel, with no remorse or regard to the next person to their left or to their right. And if anyone is offended by it, they're in their feelings, or people are just weak. Those same men and women who died for their country, or give their life for their country, defend this country, or whatever you want to call it, die for those same liberties that you are abusing. And that is what it is. You're abusing it. You can call it what it is. but that's exactly what it is. You're abusing it. Um, Now, there are some people that ask me, being that I continue to serve my country, do I feel offended by people kneeling for the national anthem? I personally do not feel offended in any way whatsoever. I wear the uniform. I'm proud to wear the uniform, but I am not offended. Why should I be offended? Because I'm defending those same liberties that you are using. So, be it a person protesting in a peaceful manner, they're not savages, they're not belligerent, they're not acting like wild animals or monkeys, because that's what most people are labeling black folks as. But to protest in a peaceful manner, and it's still looked at as a bad thing, it just boggles the mind. It really does. Um, it is really sad because where this country is headed, it's not for the better. It's not. And we look at the generation growing up now. What do they have to live for? What do they have to really look forward to? Because whether you believe it or not, hate is taught. You don't come out of your mother's womb angry, mean, mad, wanting to shoot and stab and kill people, call them racist names. No, it's taught. It's learned. And it's sad. I'm not looking to change anybody's views or anything like that. I'm not. I don't have time for that. I really don't. Because people are set in their ways. But for those people who are open-minded, and I mean actually open-minded, not selectively open-minded, where, well, I'll go with certain things, but not everything else. No, if you are absolutely open-minded and actually have a dignified intellectual conversation without cussing, calling someone names, or degrading them, and if you can't do that, you might want to start some self-reflect first before you start having a conversation with anybody. I'm all over social media, and I watch the things that people post, and it's downright sickening and sad. It really is. Because you have not personally experienced it yourself, then it really doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do is take the time to experience. Well, let me say it this way. I'm going to take the time to actually elaborate on the type of racism that I experienced in this country. Um, Before I get into that, one thing I do know, I have this thing called common sense. And I don't expect anyone else to have it because what's common to me may not be common to the next person. But I have this thing called common sense. And common sense tells me that not all white people are evil, mean, mad, knuckle-dragging cave monsters. No, they're not. It's like we don't want white folks, and anybody who's not black or of color, to look at us as savages, beasts, monsters, monkeys, jungle bunnies, whatever. We're just as bad as they are. But anyways, I digress. I was one night, actually let me start when I was a little younger. I um, was walking with some friends of mine one night, and these cops had pulled us over, and was like, "Oh, well, you guys fit the description of three black men who robbed this house just now." Which, sad to say, in our country, all black folks look alike. We're all the same height. We're all old people. Um, we didn't even fit the description. They just saw three young black kids walking out of an okay neighborhood. Because anybody who knows me knows that I didn't grow up in the ghetto or the hood or whatever you want to call it. Um, so the actual perpetrators that they were looking for were actually three white kids. Is it sad? It is. So I want to go ahead and fast forward a little further. So I'm in Texas, and I was riding in a vehicle with a white female, and I'm in my military PT uniform, and so she was speeding, so she gets pulled over, and cop looks at us, and he looks at me. He says, "Are you in the military?" I can't use say common sense per se, but I told him, I said, "Yes, I'm in the military." Showed him my military identification card. So then he asked, "Hey, do you guys mind if we search your vehicle?" Had nothing to hide. And so what happened next was really interesting. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Had to handle something. So, the cop goes and says, "Hey, can we search your vehicle?" We didn't have a problem. This was like 2 o'clock in the morning. This was Goldworth, Texas. And so it's like something you would see like kind of like out of a suspense movie or something, because the officer had me stand roughly about 30 feet away from the vehicle in this tall grass. And it looked really creepy, fog and everything. So they pulled the young lady back to the vehicle where the two police vehicles were. And so they began to ask her, was she in any danger? Did they have any drugs, any weapons? But you're going to ask her, but not me. So I had told people about what I experienced, and I had some people literally tell me to my face that I was a victim of circumstance. And I absolutely don't have any respect for those people who allow that to come out of their mouth. Victim of circumstance. I don't know if I can call it racial profiling. Maybe that was what it was. So, for people to literally say anything out of their mouth in regards to, oh, well, you know, why run? Uh, you should have complied. Or when a minority is killed by a law enforcement officer, the first thing people like to do is go to their social media to see what type of person they were. What were they posting? What were they about? Let's check their criminal history, their criminal record. The fact of the matter is, losing a life is not justified. And anybody that wants to justify a person should have complied or whatever the case is, I have no respect for those type of people at all. I really don't. And it's sad. But another thing that really gets me too is when a person says, I'm not racist, but she didn't have to say that. You shouldn't have to say it at all. If anybody knows me, know what I'm about and what I stand for, it's not a racist bone in my body at all. I give respect where respect is due. Now, I may not like the things that I see. And them white people stupid. Them white people. No, I don't jump in that same conversation as most people. I don't. And again, you have people that feel that they want to blame the previous president because racism. I had a friend that posted something that said racism was almost dead until Obama took office. I'm sorry, that is the stupidest post I've ever seen in my life. The most dumbest post I've ever seen in my life. That is absolutely not true at all. If anything, it was coming to the surface. History will always find a way to repeat itself until you fix what was broken, fix what was wrong. Racism was not almost gone before he took office. Oh, because there was a black man that took office, oh, racism, well, we're past racism because we had a black man in office. No, there probably will never be a black man in office. Hell, we'll never see a woman in office. Or for that matter, any other minority in office. See, I had the most amazing experience in the military because I was able to experience all cultures. I served with white folks, black folks, Hispanics, Filipinos, Asians, you name it. I served with everybody. And some of them people I can call brothers and sisters. I go to hell and back with them and for them. Can't say the same for the rest of the people in this country. I really can't. So it goes back to what I previously said. When someone asked me, was I offended because someone kneeled during the Pledge of Allegiance? No, I absolutely am not offended. Nor will I ever be offended. Ever. Because there are many people that are like me. There are people that came before me. And there will be people that come after me that's going to serve this country. The country that many of you live in. That are fighting for your freedoms. So because you had a loved one die in the military and someone kneels, that's disrespect. No, it's not. because it does not personally affect me in any way. Now, we lose our soldiers, our airmen, our seamen, or whatever, and we drape their coffins in the American flag. Yet, when a person kneels or put a fist in the air or however they demonstrate peacefully, it's still looked at as bad. I don't understand it. I didn't sign up for that class and I don't want to understand it. And the reason why I say I don't want to understand it is because people are set in their ways. They believe what they want to believe. Look at, well, you say the media is mean, the media is evil, the media is portraying this that way, or that way, or this way, or whatever. No. So I want to take this just a little further. Again, I have friends of all backgrounds. All backgrounds. Here's what makes me different from many of you out there who just don't give a damn about nobody else. If one of my friends were pulled over, and I don't care what color they are, and their life was taken from them because of, oh, they made a sudden movement, or they were reaching, I am not in any way going to say, well, they should have complied. They should have listened. Oh, it didn't happen to me or anybody in my family, so I ain't got nothing to worry about. No. Make America great again. I think I could be a little more honest to say, and many of you looking at it like, well, Trump is actually saying exactly what I was thinking or what I'm feeling. But I'm not a racist, though. You're right. You're not. In your own little world, you're not. And it's the most craziest thing. It really is. How people are. How they view others. And there are some people. I can give you another example of something I experienced, and this is at where I previously am employed at, where I thought, keyword, I thought, but I did not react on how I was thinking at the time. But I thought that, being that I was the only minority in that building, that some things were being worked against me. And luckily I was wrong. But I decided to talk to somebody about it. And it was a white woman, and she tells me that why is it that the moment someone does something to black people, they feel it's because of their color or they're being discriminated against or whatever. And she says, without even thinking, well, racism will never die is because people are always bringing it up and talking about it. Like, oh. Mind you, she did not even pay attention to what I said. I didn't say, I know this is happening. I said, I think. So people have selective hearing. They hear what they want to hear. I mean, I could have turned that conversation around and said to her, well, why is it that every time a man says something to a woman it's sexual harassment? Why do you use the sexual harassment card? Oh, wait, that's different? No. If you're being discriminated against in any form or fashion whatsoever, you're supposed to talk about it. You're supposed to. Because if you don't, it's like saying it never happened. That's the thing that's crazy. You're not supposed to talk about anything that has to do with being discriminated against. Why do you tell black people not to use the race card when you give them a card and you tell them don't use the card that you gave them? Makes no sense at all. Now, I talk about many things. Many, many, many things. From race, relationships, fitness, financial wellness, everything. I talk about everything. But what I realize about most Americans is they can't have a civil conversation without allowing their emotions and their feelings cloud their conversation. One thing I've noticed is that when you put truth in front of people, they automatically say, oh, it's not true. So what is true is not true, and what isn't true is true. I don't know what class they took in school, but I think I missed that one too. And it's crazy because just because there are people that support Trump does not make him any less of a person either. And again, I'm on Facebook and I read some of the comments. Some of it's disgusting. It's from the same people that I grew up with, that I went to high school with, served in the military with. And they say that you'll never know what a person went through or is going through until you walk a mile in their shoes. I would love to challenge anybody that would walk in anybody who is a minority and walk in their shoes, be in their life, and experience what they experience. I honestly think, again, this is my opinion, I honestly think, in my opinion, that things would actually be different. They would be different. But until we really recognize the root of all evil that we have going on, this will never go away. It will never be fixed. We will never have justice in this country, and we won't. The system is broke. Many of you will admit to it, and many of you will not admit to it. But the system is broke. I have seen how Hispanics have been treated in this country, and it is absolutely horrible. And it is. I have seen how Asians have been treated in this country, Black folks have been treated in this country, how Muslims were treated in this country. I mean, I could keep going with that list. And if you're not the same color as the elite, you're looked down at. You're looked down at. And you know, it's sad. The most frightening thing is, and this is me being transparent, the most frightening thing is for me to be pulled over by a disgruntled cop and something tragic happens where my life is taken. If anybody knows me, I'm not a violent person. I'm 5 feet 3 inches. I absolutely am not taller than anyone, nor am I dark black, because those are the ones that are usually sought as dangerous and savage and beastly. The sad thing is, if my life was taken, there will be people out there that will justify my death. They will want to look at my social media. They will want to look at my criminal history, what type of background I have, my upbringing. Life is not valued until it's your loved one's life taken. Then it's valued. Then it means something. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. This is my first video that I created. I will post more videos with different topics, subjects, and we'll definitely be looking for some feedback. So again, thank you all for your support and your encouragement to get me to do something like this crazy. But I do appreciate you guys, and God bless.